All right. Looking forward to home game here against division opponent, obviously in the Houston Texans, who we have a lot of respect for. Played them 2 weeks ago there, obviously in a very tight game. So we need to learn from that game what we need to do better, and play our best football game of the year this Sunday. In order to do that, we need to have our best week of practice, and need to really dial in and focus on ways that we can get better at the little things, not just within the scheme, but, the fundamentals and technique. It gets late in the season. You can't get bored. We talk about you can't get bored with the same old drills. You got to still have a passion and a focus and a persistence in doing the same things over and over again and finding ways to continue to get better. So we'll work at that this week and see if we can get 1% better. Next, just want to congratulate, obviously, Kenny Moore on being named AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Obviously, not just a great interception and caused fumble, but he's just been playing that way the whole year. So really happy for him. That's indicative of who he is as a person and player. And you really see that first on the practice field. You talk to any of our guys about how hard he practices. And I'm just glad it shows up in the game and people recognize his playmaking ability, but not just his playmaking ability, the consistency of his play. And then also fired up about Justin, Justin Houston being named a finalist for the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. Justin's the ultimate pro, and really his leadership here has been a big time deal. The way he handles himself, on the field and off the field, really a great leader. As far as practice today, we're going to stick with the same routine with Philip. I feel like he is making a little bit of progress, and that's why we're gonna keep the same thing. So he'll no practice for him today, and we are expecting both Darius and Xavier to practice today. And then lastly, before questions, fired up to have Rigo back in the building. Everyone's excited to have him back in the building. Means a lot to us. So just glad he'll be out here with us today, and then we'll take his situation day by day.
All right, Mike Chappell.
One quick follow-up on this. So there's a chance Rigo kicks on Sunday.
I would say there's a chance. But we're not going to rush it. We want to make sure he's right, and we're not going to push him past where he's ready to go. This is, we'll rely on him and the doctors and the trainers, and just take it day by day and see how he does.
Also, from a coaching point of view, Frank, what is so difficult to sweep a team in a season?
Guys are guys, players are tough-minded, man. The players in this league, and it's on both sides. So, you get beat, and that doesn't taste good or feel good. So, guys typically bow up and want to respond. But for us as a team, we have to learn how to be able to, beat a team twice, because that's equally as tough. And that's also a mental toughness thing. Not just when you get beat where you got to bow up, but you got to have the mental toughness to be able to come into a second meeting and, with the same tenacity. Obviously in this game, that should be easy because we got a lot of respect for the Texans, number one. And number two, the game that we just played was obviously a very tight game.
Nice, Coach.
Zach Kiefer.
Frank, this isn't about any particular player, but I'm curious from your perspective as a coach and a player, how much do guys have to put into their body away from, practice and the usual stuff, right? Like how much is on them to do that? And how much does a guy do himself a favor by figuring that out early in his career when he probably feels pretty good, but there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. And if you can get on that early, it probably changes the trajectory of your career in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, Zach. You're exactly right. It's getting on that early, and not just wait until you're 30 years old, but get on it early and develop that routine. It's become bigger than ever. It's a 365 day a year job, and it's 24/7. I happened to catch the end of Justin's press conference, and I know I've talked to him enough. I know all the stuff he's doing to get himself ready to play. But not just him, all of our guys. It takes that. We talk a lot about recovery. I think that's the big key, Zach. What we've learned more in the last 10 years is the importance of recovery. We know we're going to practice hard, but if you learn how to recover, the benefit of that is you can practice harder for longer. If you don't recover well, then you're not really ready to go hard the next practice. So if we can learn how to recover, that is absolutely critically essential to being able to practice hard, fast, and long. And our guys take that very seriously.
Joel Erickson.
Frank, when you're making a fourth down call, whether to go or not to go, how quickly do you want to have that done? I'm assuming you want to have it almost as soon as the ball gets spotted.
Yeah, I really do. I've had Mr. Urson and I were talking about this the other day. We had a long talk about for the last couple of weeks about, fourth down situations and, just talking through, because I want him, first of all, I want to hear his opinion because I respect it. Second of all, I just want him to hear how we as an offensive staff think about it. And, one of the things that you go over is, these fourth down calls are, we're talking about them all week. I'm talking about them with Nick, and I spend a lot of time talking about this stuff. We talk about it with Philip, and I spend a lot of time personally, the last 48 hours before a game, putting myself in every situation that I can imagine and what's going to be the call, And so that when the situation comes up, you're not thinking about what it is. You've already kind of played it out in your mind. And every now and then you got to adjust from that, but that's pretty much how it works out. So it's pretty simultaneous.
Kevin Bowen.
Frank, did you feel when you guys signed Philip that there was more pressure on your pass protection? And if so, or if not, what can you say about that group? And I know it's not just the O-line, but what the job they've done here through the first, 3 months.
They've done an amazing job. It's really a unique dynamic. A lot of people, and I understand this, I mean, it makes logical sense. Think, well, you get a guy who's 39 years old who can't move out of the pocket, but so you're going to have to protect better. But then of course, my background with Philip, and not everybody who's not a scrambler has this gift, but Philip has the gift, like a Dan Marino did, like a Peyton Manning did, of, hey, I can't get out of the pocket, but man, I can beat you with my mind. I'm going to get the ball out quick. I can accelerate through my progressions faster than anybody else. I know I'm limited in the pocket, so I know I got to compensate for that in other ways. And knowing how to get rid of the ball quick and understanding the protection rules and what we're doing. So Philip's a master at that. He really is. And no one does it better. All that being said, you still got to protect. And so our guys have done a great job of that all year. It's been a group effort, not just the O-line, but the backs have done a great job as well.
And then one quick follow-up. Did AC make it through the game all right on Sunday?
He did. Obviously he had the setback, but then came in and, just talking to him today, feel like we're on the right progress.
Jim Aiello.
Yeah, Frank, I just wanted to get back to what you mentioned, having that conversation with Mr. Irsay does he have that kind of aggressive mentality that you guys do? Because obviously he comes from a time in football where not as many people win for it on fourth down. So does he kind of have that same mentality when you talk to him?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's definitely more of a traditionalist, in understanding it, but that's why I like to talk to him. And that's why I like to hear his perspective. I don't want to just surround myself with all the new analytics guys. I want to hear it all. And there have been a couple times this year where his perspective has weighed into decisions that I've made in those moments, and the balance that he brings to it. But what's pretty cool about Mr. Irsay is that he's not stuck in that tradition. He understands, and he understands what our philosophy is. We made it clear when we came in here at the very start 3 years ago that this is who we were going to be as an offense, and he's been very supportive of that.
Okay, we'll go two more. George Bremer.
Coach, we talked a lot about Philip learning his offensive teammates and seeing some of the results of that now on the field. How long did it take, though, for the rest of the offense to learn him, and how did that process play out?
I think it played out well. I think it's a natural process. I think because of Philip's experience, personality, character, it accelerates it, but you can only accelerate it so fast. There's just some of it just takes time. Developing a relationship takes time. There's no two ways about that.
Okay, and last one, Mike Chapman.
Frank, going back to pass protection, a lot of plays kind of jump out at you, but the long pass to Pittman where Taylor picked up the blitzer,
Yeah.
is that something that he's really worked on? I don't know how much he did of that in college.
No, I don't know. You know, I mean, I didn't see a ton of that on his college tape. I'm sure it was there once or twice, but he's done a phenomenal job in protection. I mean, really, he takes the protection side just as important as the run and the ball side, because Coach Rathman demands that. I mean, and we all demand it, but and then the backs demand it of themselves. So Jonathan, that was a play where you don't have time to flinch. Jonathan sees it, recognizes it. You can't wonder for a split second, do I need to go or not go? Can I go around Philip this way, or do I need to abort my fake right now? He knew in an instant, I have to abort my fake. I have to get there. Philip slides in the pocket a little bit, ends up, making a 20-yard play to Pittman. And, that could have very easily been disastrous. But here you got a rookie running back who has really taken a lot of pride, not just in the identification process, but and then actually in the technique and the fundamentals that it takes to get that thing picked up so clean.